hear me okay? Okay. It's hard for me to be attracted to the idea of performing the reclamation of my image in the context of a Swiss exhibition space. As a performer, I feel like I spend too much time translating myself to you, believing that it's self-representation. It's like whatever I reclaim, I decode and I return to you. I so often position myself while hyper-aware of your perceiving me. And so today I actually want to talk about you. I want to talk about the white gaze, but not conceptually or academically. Quite literally, I want to talk about your face when you look. I don't know if you've ever caught yourself looking. You must first be able to conceive of yourself as a group. It's funny that we talk about the people of color community, as if it's not the most roundabout way of referring to everyone that isn't white. Somehow everyone else is the group. But in Switzerland, when I walk around, I feel very much like I'm walking through the community. It's very cliquey. And despite all of the connections that I've made over 10 years, I can tell that I'm not part of that group. I can tell by the way that you look at me when I'm outside, when I'm not in the spaces that you've invited me. Sometimes I forget that I don't get to be anonymous, to just run an errand or take public transportation and blend in. Being outside is a quick correction, and I remember that I'm heavily surveilled by the patrons of the community. Maybe I'm followed through a store, or my ticket is checked first, or I'll look up from my phone to catch several sets of eyes darting away. I've had white friends come to visit me here from outside of Switzerland, and a few of them have made the same remark. They ask me, do people here always stare like this? I don't think you realize what you look like when you do that. Just one person having a curious moment. But to me, have you ever seen the movie Inception? Do you remember that scene where they're training the architect and she changes too much about the dream and all of the dream characters become suspicious and hostile and everyone who passes her is just staring? Now imagine that you get on a bus, and all of the people on the bus are looking at you like you're some foreign body fucking up the dream. It's creepy. You creepy, you're freaking me out. It's freaking me out. Fix your face. Control your Maybe it's because the places that you expect to encounter me are spaces like this. Performative spaces, exhibition spaces, or academic spaces. Spaces where I'm a subject to be learned about, or a novelty where I'm included or a special interest. And it seems to me like we don't get to be a voice that is loud in the room unless we're speaking directly to you. So it's a small wonder then that when you see me in real life, existing in my likeness, you might naturally feel entitled to an explanation. My friend Suhini and I were on our way home one day. We got on a bus together and ruined the dream. After those initial awkward moments of silence, we started talking about it, about how eerie it was that they were staring at us, and how common this moment is to both of our lives. We talked about it in front of everyone, but it didn't stop them staring. If anything, it became the thing that they were waiting for, a performance, some reason to look. My friend Suhini said, "I wish I had a shirt that was just a big mirror, so that any time a group of white folks looked at me, they would have to look at themselves." Let's play a game. Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking down the street. It's the route that you take to get to work. You stop by the Negroes to buy yourself a sandwich for lunch, and just ahead of you, you see a very tall figure with broad, strong shoulders. They're wearing a mini skirt, and they have a big, perfectly circular afro. 4C, you think. And their skin, it's like dark chocolate. But it's glistening, so maybe it's melting chocolate, or no, better, it's glistening like ebony, like a precious stone. And you don't know why, but you can't look away. Maybe you want to know what they're doing here. Maybe you just think they look really good. But if that's the case, why do you find yourself moving closer to the figure, creeping slowly around their periphery? Ooh, just can't look away. There's something about you. Maybe you want to know if they're a boy or a girl. Maybe you want to try to guess where they're from. Maybe they'll even tell you. Or even better, maybe you'll guess right. On the first or second trial, just something about you. I can't look away. The last time I was in Zurich, I was only here a couple of days, and within those couple of days, I had the most uncanny experience. The first incident took place while I was walking towards my hotel. I passed a man. Okay, so you know how when you're on the street, you look at people and they look at you and it's all normal and fine. But then there's those people who look at you. And as they get closer, they're still looking. Maybe you know this feeling. Maybe you know the feeling of their walking aura sort of pressing into the border of your space. And so you start to scan them for violent vibes. The best course of action in this situation is to keep looking straight ahead, like you don't even see them. But as this man gets closer, he leads into my periphery as if to hook my face with his. Now I brace myself for passing, because at this point, I think he might say something to me. And sure enough, as he passes, he locks onto my face and goes, "Yahoo!" Okay, incident number 2. I've just checked into the hotel I was walking towards. And check out. And before I leave, I need to rearrange a few things in my backpack. So the closest out-of-the-way spot is on the far wall near the elevator. But in the seconds that it takes for me to turn around towards the wall, I notice that there's a man on the couch in the lobby staring at me. I kind of put my back to him as I kneel down to arrange my things. But he gets up off of the couch and walks towards me. Now, mind you, I am near the elevator, and so maybe he needs to use it, but he comes and just sort of hovers between the elevator and me. I don't look at him. And this man leans his head into my field of vision, literally bending over to say, "Hello." And that's it. There's no more words. Nothing else happens. He just straightens up, and I stand up, and I leave. And that's it. Out of fear that I might turn into a pillar of salt, I do not turn to look and see if he actually took the elevator. And would you believe it, that upon exiting the hotel at that very moment, there stands a little boy about yay high, all by himself on the sidewalk. Now, I'm still not used to kids that small being by themselves in public, but it happens a lot in Switzerland, so I need to calm down. But I still check to make sure he's okay. And he seems fine, so I smile at him and respectfully turn away. And as I'm passing, I hear his little voice say, "Hello." So I turn back around and I say, "Hi." And it was all just strange. Okay, so you may be thinking, what? Now we can't say hello? But first of all, they did, and they do just fine. And second of all, you can't tell me that that was a normal hello. It was a yahoy. that I didn't do. And I want to know, what should I have done? Seriously. What is it that you want? Want me to tell you where I'm from? Also, heute, ich bin aus Berlin gekommen. That's annoying, right? I know what you mean. Maybe it's that he wanted me to acknowledge sooner, without him having to ask that I see him, seeing me. And over the years, I found a workaround for this. Sometimes I am in the mood to let you know that I see you. This is a game I like to call Now You See Me, and I need a volunteer. Any volunteers? Yeah? Okay. Round of applause for our brave volunteers. So you're standing up here, and you are probably a middle-aged white man or an older couple, and you're standing waiting for the bus. I am walking down the street in your direction, and you're staring at me. And I'm over here pretending that I don't see you, but eventually we make eye contact. Do you break the eye contact?
Yes, sure.
No, you don't. Not until I get to about here. And then you look straight ahead, as if you were never looking in the first place. But you calculate the time that it will take for me to pass you, so that you can turn to me and see if there's anything interesting on the back. But when you turn, I'm not there. Yeah, I'm behind you. You whip around when you realize that I've fooled you. You can turn to me. And what happens now? We're face to face. How do you feel? Uncomfortable. I've embarrassed you. Am I in trouble now? Or are we having fun?
I think with me you can go.
With you I'll have fun? Thank you. Definitely not everyone. A lot of the time they get angry at me. They didn't like that I could predict what they were going to do. But it's a game that brings me some catharsis when I play it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's play one more game, shall we? Close your eyes. Imagine you're very interested in the African continent, in particular West Africa. You visited Bamako for the first time 5 years ago, and you fell in love. Ever since, you go every year help out, building schools with a charity organization based in Switzerland. You consider it an ethical vacation because you get to experience a beautiful culture that isn't yours and give back at the same time. The program that you volunteer with also offers tours through travel villages, like legit. You're thrilled to see the traditional garments. Some of the women even have their breasts out, and several of the children are completely naked. They have the most wonderful hairstyles and jewelry. You can't wait to take some home. One little child in particular catches your attention. behind his older sibling, he looks up at you with these big, brown eyes. His little pot belly is sticking out, and his finger is in his mouth. And would you believe it? The brightest green fly you've ever seen is gently resting on his forehead. Oh, you can hardly bear it. You need to take a picture. So you smile at the boy to disarm him, and you kneel down slowly so as not to startle him. You lean in with your arms outstretched, and you open your camera and shut. It's in selfie mode. Fumbling with the thing. You try not to miss the moment. You slowly resign to the fact that you've missed a chance. The boy has already hurried away while your camera is rapidly taking photos of your whole face. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Did you know there's such a thing as black light? Not the UV black light that you see in the clubs, but actual black luminescence. I give myself the liberty of very many YouTube spirals during my research for new work. And this time I learned something. I learned about black light. What the guy in this video did was put a source of white light in a dark room, like on his phone, pointed it at the camera and said, look, you can clearly see white light. But then he took another bigger, more luminous white light and put it behind it. And the light that we saw before appeared as a black void in the center of that new light. And it's not a trick of the camera. It's because light is relative. Light is contextual. And so, if you had 1,000 little white lights in a room, and one big white light behind them, all of those little lights and their nuances and their variances would appear as a flat black plane, a monolith. And when that big white light is shone over me in order to capture my true image or see me better, and all of my nuances are washed away by that brilliant flood, it is my eyes that must adjust to this light. And it is my eyes that have been adjusting my whole life. So while you fiddle with the lenses, adjusting for white balance, it is I that can see you clearly. And you look weird. You're looking at me weird, man. The way you look at me, it's weird. Thank you.